I'd love to know a little bit about Manchester, because I think Manchester can be underrated as a city, and it's so exciting now. Yeah. Can you just give us a few tips and tricks about Manchester?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's so funny, isn't it? I think that it's still an area that is so unexplored, especially for a lot of Southerners like myself who, I did make the move up there following my degree at uni, and I lived there for 12 years. So it's been amazing to see that city develop and really come into its own and come to life. I think the food scene in Manchester is incredible. I think the secret to that is that obviously as a city, and as a business owner that started there, it is a city that you can, start up and really be brave and test and trial things without running the risk of the overheads that exist in London. So I think there's a lot of creative mavericks up there who are doing things quite differently, and therefore you get some incredible bars, restaurants to go to, and I regularly still visit our studio up there. I recently actually checked out a brand new restaurant called Winsome, which is amazing. Very much kind of a British butcher type aesthetic, very pared back, white tablecloths, but then a very minimal aesthetic. And the food is insane, very British, and really celebrating, I think, some of those kind of regions, the Pennines around the city. So that was a wonderful experience. But I think, I recently actually did a piece in Elle Decoration where I referenced a lot of my favourite spots there.
Yes, so definitely, listeners, go to that article because it's a brilliant guide to Manchester, what you need to do.
Yes, and I love to shop. I love to eat. I love to go to gigs and listen to a lot of music. So I really try to kind of pull some of those themes through in that. So definitely go and check that out.
Go and check that out. It's a very, very good guide to Manchester. And actually it takes us nicely onto the food and drink question, because you were saying that it's got a great food and drink scene there. So food is so part of travel and so important to all of us. So what do you like eating? Where do you like eating? Let's talk about your favourite cocktail, restaurants, bars.
Shall we start with cocktails?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a few kind of ones really spring to mind. For me, as I mentioned before, New York is a place that I absolutely love. And I love a dirty martini, preferably very dirty martini. So there's actually a bar in New York called Jupiter that I think I found my favourite one when I was sort of sat there. Again, I think a lot of the experience that you have with food and drink really is about the people you're with, the environment you're in, the context of the day. So it was off the back of a real kind of hustly day in central New York. And I was with my creative director, Sarah, and we sat at that bar and just really enjoyed that moment together and savoured every last drop of that.
Where is Jupiter
martini.
in New York?
It's actually in the Rockefeller Center.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of the kind of the basement retail units there, and it's beautiful. It's a very cool concept, but we just dived in for a quick cocktail and then escaped. But I think the food's supposed to be amazing as well. Also, spagliato is my new kind of tipple of choice.
What's a spagliato?
Well, it's kind of like a Negroni, but they top it up with Prosecco.
Oh, yes, I've had one of those. When I was at Castelfalfi in Tuscany recently, I had one. It was delicious because I love a Negroni. Yes. But I had that, exactly.
Exactly. So I first tried this in Berlin, actually. Berlin's an incredible city. Again, another one that I would be top on my list to visit if you can. But I was in a little bar called Frida, and they had an incredible cocktail list, and I saw spagliato and I'd never had it before. So that was my choice. And that then became the drink of Christmas for us in our household. We were constantly pouring more spagliato. So I would encourage people to try that if they haven't already. So yeah, those would be my notable cocktail moments. I think for food, so as we were talking about Manchester, there is actually an amazing restaurant called The Sparrows, who are, doing things really interesting, kind of culmination of things like spatzel, which is like a twisted pasta, really delicious, and they make it in tons of different ways. But then they're also blended with this incredible sake menu and offering. So they've got like that Japanese twist as well. It's really unusual. It's under these old railway arches in Red Bank district, and it's kind of one of those, like, you sort of knock on the door, you think you're in the wrong place, and then you open it up and it's like the most amazing hospitality. So that meal, I think, was really defining for me in terms of trying it and thinking, wow, this is so delicious. So yeah, the Sparrows is incredible. I really kind of flipped between places where it feels a little bit more fine dining, but then also there's something to really be said for unfussy. So for me, a recent visit on the sort of slightly finer side was Au Top in Paris, in the Marais district. This restaurant, again, really unusual entrance. You sort of find yourself in a residential courtyard, then going round the back by the bins, and there's a lift, and you think, I'm definitely not in the right place. There's just a little plaque on the wall. But you go right the way up to the rooftop. And when you get up there, you've got beautiful views of the kind of rooftops of the Marais district in Paris.
That's such a beautiful area. Is that the Place des Vosges and all of those sort of things?
Exactly. Incredible shopping around that area as well. And so, we sort of sat up there, and it was actually quite a chilly day in February, but they can bring the roof over or retract it in the summer, so it's completely open air. And I was amazed by the food that they were serving up there. It was incredible. We had this artichoke. I never knew how to eat an artichoke, but the man really taught me how to kind of pull the leaves off and eat it properly. And they really love their cuisine in Paris, don't they? So it was an incredible place. But then equally, like I say, about the unfussy side of things, I remember having an amazing lobster roll at Broad Street Oyster Company in Malibu, and you just sit in a parking lot and grab it out of a van. They call your name, and you just sit there, and it's just off the PCH, off the Pacific Coast Highway, and best lobster roll I've ever had.
Oh, that sounds delicious, and that's such a great drive. So wonderful. Did you go to Big Sur and all over there? It's fantastic.
Amazing. And I'm hoping, because I've not been back obviously since the devastating fires that happened over there, that some of those spots that we really felt like we'd made memories in are still there. But yes, the PCH drive you feel like you're in a movie.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
And now I know where to go and get a wonderful lobster roll. How exciting. Yes. Definitely going back on my list. You were telling me a little bit, going back to Manchester, about Nobu going into Manchester. Can you just tell me a little bit about that?
Yes. So they've just actually announced that Nobu is coming into the city. It's going into the incredible development called Viaducts. So I think they're taking one of the towers and doing the full hotel and restaurant offering, which is so amazing. And I think that's a real kind of indicator and a testament to Manchester really, putting its stake in the ground as a city that should be, known globally. So we're very excited to see what that has to offer and see how that plays out in the north of England as well.